I still remember the way Suzanne smiled at him. We were at a crowded downtown restaurant, the kind with dim lights meant to make everyone look better than they really are. She laughed at something the waiter said, leaning in close, touching his arm, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. I sat across from her, watching the scene play out like I was invisible. When the waiter walked away, she didn't even look embarrassed. She just checked her phone and asked,
"Are you done eating? It's like no matter how much you eat, you're never full. Jesus."
The fight happened later that night, in our kitchen. I told her how humiliating it felt to watch my own wife flirt with every good-looking man who crossed our path. She snapped back that I was insecure and paranoid, and that maybe if I took better care of myself, I wouldn't feel so threatened. That's when I knew if I didn't do something about my weight, she was going to leave. I kept thinking of a way to lose weight fast and easy the entire night. Somewhere around 3 in the morning, I ordered Ozempic from a sketchy website I barely trusted. No prescription, no questions asked. The confirmation email felt like a secret pact I made with myself. The changes came fast, too fast. The number on the scale dropped every morning, and with it came a strange sense of relief, like I was finally fixing what was wrong with me. Suzanne noticed within a week. She said my face looked slimmer. She smiled at me again. That smile hooked me deeper than any drug. Food became an enemy. Even the smell of it made my stomach twist. I skipped meals without meaning to, then started doing it on purpose. Sleep stopped coming naturally. I would wake up multiple times a night, heart racing, convinced I had gained weight in my sleep. I started weighing myself constantly, after showers, before work, and sometimes in the middle of the night. If the number did not change, panic crawled up my spine. But soon, I started losing time. The first time I woke up on the bathroom floor, my head pounded. I assumed I had fainted. When I stood up, I saw dried blood around my lips in the mirror. It happened again a few nights later. This time, I noticed long, angry scratch marks across my stomach, deep enough to sting when I touched them. I did not remember making them. I did not remember falling either. When I looked at my reflection now, it did not look like weight loss. It looked like something had been taken from me. My eyes were sunken, my skin stretched thin over bones that had never shown before. I told myself this was the price of becoming someone Suzanne would finally want, even as my body began to feel less like mine every day. I collapsed at work on a Tuesday morning, halfway through answering an email. I had already forgotten how to start. My hands were shaking so badly that the keyboard rattled under my fingers. I remember standing up to get water, then the room tilting sharply to the left, like the floor had decided I was done using it. When I opened my eyes again, everything smelled like antiseptic and plastic. The ceiling lights above me were too white, too sharp. My body felt heavy and hollow at the same time, like there was nothing solid left inside to hold me together. A machine beside the bed beeped steadily, counting something I could not feel anymore. A doctor stood near my bed, flipping through a chart with a tight expression that did not soften when he noticed I was awake. He asked me questions, my name, my age, and what medications I was taking. I tried to answer, but my throat was dry, and my thoughts moved slowly, as if they had to wade through mud to reach my mouth. When I finally admitted what I had been taking, his jaw clenched. He pulled up a chair and sat beside me, lowering his voice. He said my body was no longer burning fat. He said that phase had passed weeks ago. Now, it was consuming muscle tissue. He hesitated before adding that it had likely started breaking down organs too, prioritizing survival over anything else. I stared at him, numb, my vision blurred, and for a moment I thought I was blacking out again. Memories rushed in instead. Suzanne laughing with the bartender. Suzanne telling me I was embarrassing her. Suzanne was saying I looked sick now. saying she needed space and saying she could not deal with my obsession anymore. I realized she had stopped checking in days ago. No missed calls, no worried messages. I had been killing myself for someone who barely noticed I was dying. The doctor kept talking about treatment plans and recovery timelines, but his words floated past me. I thought about the nights I woke up on cold tiles with blood on my mouth. The scratches on my stomach felt less like accidents and more like my body trying to escape itself. I thought about how proud I felt watching the numbers drop, even as everything else disappeared with them. I had wanted to be smaller for her, more desirable, easier to stand beside. In the process, I had erased myself piece by piece, convinced that if I reached the right number, she would finally love me the way I needed her to. Lying there, weak and broken, I finally decided to send my wife divorce notice. I'm on the path of recovery now, and along with building a healthy body, I'm also working on building enough self-esteem so I never, ever lose myself caring for people's validation. I had already been told no by 4 doctors by the time I found the Telegram post. They all said the same thing in different voices: lifestyle changes, diet, exercise. One of them smiled like he was doing me a favor. Online was worse. I made the mistake of posting in a weight loss forum, asking for advice. The comments turned into jokes within minutes. Memes, screenshots, people telling me I looked like I belonged in a warehouse, not a gym. They were not wrong about the warehouse. I lifted boxes for a living. 34 years old, back always aching, body everyone felt entitled to comment on. That's when I saw the post. Authentic Ozempic, no prescription, half the price, serious buyers only. I stared at it for a long time before messaging. The seller replied immediately, like he had been waiting. Cash only, meet tonight. Downtown alley behind a closed pawn shop. Something in my chest tightened, but desperation has a way of making fear feel negotiable. I told myself it would be quick. Buy it, leave, start over tomorrow. The alley smelled like rot and piss. Trash bags were piled against brick walls, split open by rats. One flickering streetlight buzzed overhead, doing more harm than good. I checked my phone. No new messages. I told myself to wait 5 minutes more. That was when I heard footsteps. 2 men stepped out from behind a dumpster, blocking the narrow exit. I did not hear them approach. They were already too close. One of them smiled, slow and knowing. The other kept his hands in his jacket pockets. "Caleb," the smiling one said. My stomach dropped. I had not told the seller my real name. He stepped closer and poked my belly with 2 fingers, like he was testing dough. "So this is what all the fuss is about," he said, laughing. "Man, you weren't kidding. People like you are easy marks." I tried to back up, but the wall was right there. The second guy moved in behind me, close enough that I could feel his breath on my neck. They knew why I was there. They mocked the doctors who wouldn't help. They joked about how much weight I could lose if I just stopped eating altogether. I realized there was never any Ozempic. They took everything first. My wallet disappeared into the smiling one's jacket. My phone was ripped from my hand before I could even think about calling for help. My backpack followed, dumped out and searched like I was nothing more than loose change. I stood there, pressed against the brick wall, heart hammering, telling myself it was over. They got what they wanted. They would let me go. They did not. The one who had been quiet the whole time reached into his pocket and pulled out a syringe. Clear barrel, thin needle. He held it up to the alley light, like it was something precious. "Relax," he said. "This is what you came for, right? Ozempic, half the price." My stomach dropped. I shook my head, backing away, even though there was nowhere to go. He stepped closer. He said if I wanted to walk out of the alley alive, I needed to pay more. A lot more. Otherwise, he would inject me right there and let me deal with whatever happened next. I knew then they were never selling anything. They were hunting. The smiling one grabbed my arm, squeezing hard enough to make my vision blur. He laughed about how desperate people trusted needles from strangers, about how easy it was when someone hated their body enough. I felt the cold tip of the syringe brush my skin, and panic exploded through me. Then, somewhere far away, a police siren wailed. It was faint, distant, probably not even headed this way, but it made them hesitate. I could see worries in their eyes as they glanced at each other. I shoved the smiling one with everything I had left. He stumbled into the dumpster, swearing. I ducked under the other man's arm and ran. My foot hit wet pavement, and I went down hard, skin tearing, breath punched out of me. Hands grabbed at my jacket, but I kicked blindly, scrambled up, and bolted toward the street. Headlights flooded my vision. Horns blared. I did not stop until I was across traffic, stumbling onto the sidewalk, bleeding and gasping like I had just crawled out of a grave. They did not follow. At home, I locked the door and slid down against it, shaking so badly my teeth rattled. My reflection in the bathroom mirror barely looked real. Bruises bloomed across my stomach and arms. Dirt streaked my face. Blood clung to my knuckles. I stared at myself for a long time. I had gone out that night, thinking the danger was a fake drug. I had not realized the real threat was my desperation, the way it had made me willing to walk into a dark alley and trust strangers with my body. I turned off the light and stood there in the dark, understanding something that made my chest ache. People like them are everywhere, waiting, and all it takes is wanting change badly enough to stop caring how you get it. I was the only one who said no. We all lived together in that oversized, overpriced New York apartment with cracked ceilings and dreams that felt heavier than our suitcases. Emily, Brooke, and I had come to the city chasing the same thing: runways, casting calls, and our faces on billboards instead of subway ads. When Emily announced she had gotten an Ozempic prescription, it felt less like a medical decision and more like a career move. They asked me if I wanted in. I told them no. I said I wanted to do this the slow way, the normal way. Emily laughed and said normal was for girls who did not make it. At first, it looked harmless. Emily and Brooke decided to share the prescription to save money. They made a chart on the fridge with days, doses, and target weights written in red marker. They called it accountability. They said it was support. I watched them inject each other in the bathroom mirror like it was some twisted bonding ritual. The changes came too fast. Their meals grew smaller until they were more symbolic than real. Half an apple split 3 ways, black coffee for dinner. If one of them lost more weight in a week, the other would smile too tightly and start counting calories out loud. What started as encouragement turned sharp and quiet, like a blade you did not see until it cut you. Emily became obsessed with control. She hid food in her room and accused Brooke of sneaking snacks at night. I would hear her pacing, weighing herself over and over, the scale scraping against the bathroom floor. Brooke reacted differently. She grew secretive. I caught her once in the bathroom, injecting herself on a day that was not hers. She looked at me like a trapped animal and begged me not to say anything. They started watching each other's bodies like enemies. Their fingers dug into each other's waists, and their eyes lingered too long on each other's collarbones. Compliments became accusations. "Your thighs look thinner" meant "you stole from me." They stopped sleeping at the same time and stopped trusting the air between them. I tried to intervene. I told them they were scaring me. Emily said I was jealous. Brooke said I did not understand what it took to survive in this industry. One night, I heard them fighting behind the bathroom door, arguing over milligrams like it was life or death. That was when I realized it was. I started locking my door at night, not because I was afraid of strangers, but because I was afraid of the girls I had moved here with. The city outside was brutal, but what was happening inside our apartment was worse. I had watched ambition turn into obsession, and obsession rot into something hungry that never knew when to stop. I found Brooke on a Thursday morning, the kind of gray New York morning where the light